Hello students, I am Bani, your English facilitator at Learn Powered by FeatherCap, and today we'll be discussing the chapter, The Eyes Have It. So let us start. Now, this story is about two blind persons who happen to meet on a short train journey. The story is a great example of irony as both persons, a young man and a young woman, are blind, but they show as they aren't. Let's read the story. So, this story is about two people who meet on a short train journey and they both are blind, but they don't want to show each other that they are blind. So, they play pretense that they are not blind and they can see, but they are both blind. And let's see how the other person finds out that the other one was blind. So, I had the train compartment to myself up to Rohana. So this person, the protagonist, he had the train compartment all to himself till the place Rohana. So he was traveling alone by that time. The couple who saw her, then a girl got in. So the couple who saw her were probably her parents. रोहाना तक वो अकेला था एंड देन उसके बाद एक लड़की आई एंड द कपल जो आकर उस लड़की को बिठा के गया वो उसके पेरेंट्स थे दे सीम वेरी एंशियस वेरी नर्वस और वेरी वरीड अबाउट हर comfort and the woman gave the girl detailed instruction as to where to keep her things. So the woman, the mother of that girl, she gave her daughter detailed instruction, very clear instructions as to where to keep her things, when not to lean out of the window, कहाँ पे वो अपनी चीजें रखे, कब वो विंडो से बाहर ना झुके ना देखे, and how to avoid sneaking to strangers and how to avoid starting a conversation with the strangers ताकि वो किसी भी stranger के साथ कोई भी बात ना करे. Now, they called their goodbyes and the train pulled out of the station. So उन्होंने एक दूसरे को goodbye करा and जो train थी वो station से निकल गई. As I was totally blind at the time, my eyes sensitive only to light and darkness, because the guy is the protagonist of the story and he was totally blind. So his eyes were only sensitive to light and darkness. When जब कभी उसके आंखों पे light पड़ती थी या कभी उसके आंखों पे बिल्कुल अंधेरा चाहता था, बस उसको उतना ही पता लगता था. He could not see a person properly. He could not make out things through his eyes because he was a blind person. I was unable to tell what the girl looked like. Because he was blind, he could not figure out how the girl looked like. But I knew she wore slippers from the way they slapped against her heels. But I could hear. So I was not deaf, I was just blind. I could hear that she was wearing slippers because of the voice they slapped against her heels. Now, it would take me some time to discover something about her looks, and perhaps I never would. It was a short train journey, so he thought that it would take him some time to discover about something about her looks, that how she looked. Was she beautiful? Was she normal? Was she wearing something in her hair? Was she having a bun or whatever she was doing? Or maybe the fact that he would never discover how she looked. But I like the sound of her voice and even the sound of her slippers. Now, the protagonist of the story, he liked the voice of that girl who was sitting behind him, and even the sound of her slippers. Are you going all the way to Dera? I asked. So the guy, he initiated the chat, he initiated the communication. He asked her a question. Are you going to Dehradun? I must have been sitting in a dark corner. So he had no idea where he had been sitting because he was blind, so he could not make out. But he thinks that he might have been sitting in a dark corner because my voice startled her. When when he just spoke to her, वो एकदम से कांप गई थी. She gave a little exclamation. She paused and said, I didn't know anyone else was here. So she said कि I had no idea कि यहाँ पर कोई और भी था. Well, it often happens that people with good eyesight fail to see what is right in front of them. They have too much to take in, I suppose. So the guy, he had no idea that the girl was also blind. So लड़की बोलती है कि आई हैड नो आइडिया दैट यहाँ पर कोई और भी था. सो नाउ द गाय डजंट नो दैट द गर्ल इज ऑल्सो ब्लाइंड. So he says that it's always the people who can see properly, the people with good eyesight, who basically have a problem in seeing people who are in front of them. Maybe because it is a big world and there's a lot to take in. Maybe she's going through something. Maybe she's facing something of her own. That is why she could not see me in front of her. So whereas people who cannot see or see very little, like the guy, have to take in only the essentials. जैसे कि सेंसस से पता लग गया था उसे कि एक लड़की आई है एंड वो साथ में बैठी है और उसने चप्पल पहनी हुई है, उसकी आवाज अच्छी लगी उसको. वट एवर रजिस्टर्स टेलिंगली ऑन द रिमेनिंग सेंसेस, आई डेंट सी यू ईदर, आई सेड, बट आई हर्ड यू कम इन. तो वो कहता है कि मैंने भी नहीं देखा आपको अंदर आते हुए, बस मुझे आवाज आई थी कि आप अंदर आए हो. I wondered if I would be able to prevent her from discovering that I was blind. So he was thinking to himself, he was saying to himself that if I could play pretense and if I could make her believe that I was not blind and that she would not find out that I was blind, provided I keep to my seat, I thought it shouldn't be too difficult. So उसने सोचा कि I will sit on my seat, I will not move from here. तो अगर मैं as long as I am sitting on my seat, अगर मैं नहीं हिलता हूँ, so she will not get to know that I'm blind. The girl said I'm getting off at Saranpur. So because the guy asked that if you're going to Dehradun, the girl said that no, I am going to get off this train at Saranpur. uh, my aunt is meeting me there. Where are you going? तो वो लड़की बोलती है कि मेरी आंट मिलेगी मुझे वहां पे सहारनपुर में. बट वेयर आर यू ट्रैवलिंग टू? Now, she asked, to Dera and then to Missouri. So the guy replied that he was going to Dehradun and then he was going to drop off at Missouri. Oh, how lucky you are. I wish I were going to Missouri. I love the hills, especially in October. So she said, oh my God, you're so lucky. I wish I was going to Missouri too. I love to see the hills and especially in October, the weather and everything. It's so good. So I love to visit the hills, especially at this time of the year. Yes, this is the best time, I said, calling on my memories. So the guy, he replies that yes, this is the best time to visit Dehradun or Mussoorie. The hills are covered with dahlias. The sun is delicious, and at night you can sit in front of a log fire. So the hills, they are covered with beautiful plants, beautiful flowers, and the sun's delicious means it doesn't mean that you will have to eat the sun to find out that it's delicious. The sun is so good. The rays of the sun that falls on your face in the winter noon, it is so great that you feel like sitting in the sun all day. And at night you can light up a fire and sit in front of it. So most of the tourists have gone and the roads are quiet and almost deserted. Yes, October is the best time. तो जो लड़का है वो बोलता है कि अक्टूबर में बहुत ज़्यादा रश नहीं होता because everybody, जो भीड़ है वो छट जाती है, and everybody they go back to their homes and the roads are quite deserted and alone, and I like the loneliness there. So yes, October is the best time to visit. She was silent, then I made a mistake. Now she was silent and then he did a mistake. What is it like outside? तो he was blind and he wanted to know कि बाहर क्या चल रहा है, कैसा है, and he had no idea that कि वो लड़की भी blind थी. तो वो पूछता है कि बाहर सब कुछ कैसा है? I asked. She seemed to find nothing strange in the question, and to my surprise, to my astonishment, she did not find anything wrong in the question कि बाहर सब कैसा है, because उसके पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से आई टू हैव माई आईज एंड आई कैन सी बाहर कैसा चल रहा है, बट आई वॉन्टेड टू यूज हर आईज टू नो कि कैसा चल रहा है बाहर सब कुछ. बट शी डिड नॉट फाइंड दिस क्वेश्चन स्ट्रेंज. हैड शी नोटिस ऑलरेडी दैट आई कुड नॉट सी? क्या उसने अभी रियलाइज कर लिया था दैट आई वॉज ब्लाइंड? बट हर नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन रिमूव माई डाउट्स. वाई डोंट यू लुक आउट ऑफ द विंडो? शी आस्क्ड. तो लड़की बोलती है कि आप खुद देख लो ना बाहर कैसा है सब कुछ. I moved easily along the berth and felt for the window ledge. तो मैं विंडो की तरफ आ गया, हल्का सा स्लिप होके सीट से विंडो की तरफ आ गया. The window was open and I faced it, making a pretense of studying the landscape. So जो window थी वो open थी and I tried to pretend that I was studying the landscape so that अगर वो लड़की मुझे देखती है तो उसको लगेगा कि I can see and मैं landscape को पढ़ रहा हूँ. I heard the panting of the engine, the rumble of the wheels, and in my mind's eye I could see telegraph posts flashing by. So उसको इंजन की आवाज आ रही थी, व्हील्स के चलते हुए दौड़ते हुए आवाज आ रही थी, और उसके दिमाग में उसको ही कुड इमेजिन कि जब ट्रेन मूव कर रही है इतनी फास्ट, तो जो टेलीग्राफ पोस्ट है ना, जहाँ पर लिखा होता है कि यू हैव रीच दिस डेस्टिनेशन, वो सारी चीजें बहुत तेज तेज चल रही होंगी. नाउ, हैव यू नोटिस्ड, आई वेंचर्ड, that the trees seem to be moving while we seem to be standing still. तो वो लड़का बोलता है कि एकदम से he tries to move on further with the conversation, and he says कि have you noticed कि जब हम एक जगह पर, मतलब if you are sitting in the train and the train is moving, तो ऐसे लगता है कि trees move कर रहे हैं और हम एक ही जगह पर बैठे हुए हैं. That always happens, she said. Do you see any animals? तो वो लड़की बोलती है कि आपको यहाँ पर कोई animals दिख रहे हैं, because वो फॉरेस्ट्री वाले एरिया में थे पूरे, जहाँ पे पहाड़ वहाड़ थे और फॉरेस्ट था, जंगल था. सो वहाँ पे एनिमल्स होते हैं. तो वो पूछती है कि डू यू सी एनी एनिमल्स? No, I answered quite confidently. I knew that there were hardly any animals left in the forest near Dehradun. So he knew that there were not a lot of animals left in Dehradun. So he very confidently replied that no, there aren't any animals here. I turned from the window and faced the girl, and for a while we sat in silence. तो थोड़ी देर उसने उस लड़की को देखा बैठे हुए, वो एक दूसरे की तरफ फेस करके बैठे हुए थे, एंड दे लुक्ड एट ईच अदर एंड दे वर सिटिंग देयर इन साइलेंस. You have an interesting face, I remarked. She laughed pleasantly, a clear ringing laugh. He did not use any cheesy word to impress her. He said, you have an interesting face. So she laughed. She was very happy with this remark. It's nice to be told I have an interesting face. I'm tired of people telling me I have a pretty face. Now she says that I felt really good about the fact that you used this remark and you said that I have an interesting face, because I'm used to people telling me that I have a pretty face. But पहली बार मुझे किसी ने ये remark दिया है कि I have an interesting face. So you do have a pretty face, thought I. तो वो अपने दिमाग में सोचता है कि that means you're pretty, because people tell you that you're pretty, so of course you're pretty. And aloud I said, well, an interesting face can also be pretty. तो वो बोलता है he was trying to tell her that she was pretty, but वो बोलता है कि एक interesting face pretty भी हो सकता है. Now, you are a very gallant young man. तो वो कहती है you are a charming young man. She said, but why are you so serious? तो वो कहती है कि but इतने serious क्यों हो आप? I thought then that I would try to laugh for her, but the thought of laughter only made me feel troubled and lonely. So because he was not laughing and he was not very cheerful during the whole journey that they were together, so वो सोचता है that I would try to laugh for her, just because वो सोच रही है कि I'm a very serious kind of a person. But then वो सोचता है, जब वो हंसने लगता है, कि he is very lonely normally, तो किसी और के लिए हंस के क्या फायदा होगा? We'll soon be at your station, I said. तो वो कहता है, लड़का कहता है कि हम आपके स्टेशन पे पहुंचने वाले हैं. Thank goodness it's a short journey. I can't bear to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours. तो लड़की कहती है कि I am so thankful कि जर्नी छोटी थी, because मैं 2 से 3 घंटे के ऊपर नहीं बैठ सकती ट्रेन में. Yet I was prepared to sit there for almost any length of time just to listen to her talking. तो वो लड़का कहता है, मतलब अपने आप को सोचता है, अपने दिमाग में सोचता है, that he was ready to sit in that train, in that berth, for as much time as the girl was there, because उसको इतना अच्छा लग रहा था जब वो लड़की बोल रही थी, उसकी आवाज सुन के बहुत अच्छा लग रहा था. Her voice had the sparkle of a mountain stream. जब पहाड़ों में जब एक पतली सी स्ट्रीम निकल रही होती है ना, एक पानी निकल रहा होता है, नदी सी निकल रही होती है, तो उसके अंदर एक अलग ही फ्रेशनेस होती है, एक अलग ही स्पार्क होता है. उस लड़की की आवाज में वो स्पार्क था जो एक माउंटेन की स्ट्रीम में स्पार्क होता है. As soon as she left the train, she would forget our brief encounter, but it would stay with me for the rest of the journey and for some time after. तो जब वो लड़की चली जाएगी यहाँ से, तो she would not even remember me कि हमारी ऐसी बात हुई है, हमारे encounter को भूल जाएगी. But this experience, this encounter would stay with me in my heart for a very long time. जब ये journey खत्म हो जाएगी उसके बाद भी, and जब इस journey के बाद भी थोड़े time तक ये चीज मेरे साथ रहेगी. The engines whistled, shrieked, मतलब जो इंजन था उसकी जो सीटी बजी, बहुत तेज चिल्लाई. shriek का मतलब चिल्लाना. The carriage wheels changed their sound and rhythm. The girl got up, अब उसका स्टेशन आ गया था. The girl got up and began to collect her things. I wondered if she wore a bun in her hair or if her hair were plaited. तो वो सोच रहा था कि उसने अपने सिर में जूड़ा बना रखा था या फिर प्लेट बना रखी थी. Perhaps it was hanging loose over her shoulders. और शायद उसके बाल ऐसे खुले थे. Or was it cut very short? या फिर उसके बाल बहुत छोटे थे. The train drew slowly into the station. Outside there was the shouting of porters and vendors and a high-pitched female voice near the carriage door. तो उसका स्टेशन आया. स्टेशन जैसी ट्रेन रुकी तो बहुत सारे पॉटर्स थे, वेंडर्स थे जो बाहर सामान बांटने आए होते हैं, और एक बहुत तेज आवाज वाली फीमेल आई, और दैट वॉइस मस्ट हैव बिलोंग टू द गर्ल्स आंट. उस लड़की को लेने उसकी आंट आई. गुड बाय द गर्ल सेड. और लड़की ने बोला कि गुड बाय, इट वाज नाइस मीटिंग यू. There was some confusion in the doorway. A man getting into the compartment stammered an apology. कुछ कुछ भसड़ सी हुई. एंड जो बंदा अंदर आया डोरवे में उसने एकदम से अपोलोजाइज किया किसी को. देन द डोर बैंग्ड एंड द वर्ल्ड वाज शट आउट अगेन. और वो बंदी चली गई एंड द डोर वाज शट आउट एंड ही रिटर्न टू अ नॉर्मल लोनली मैन. आई रिटर्न टू माई बर्थ. द गार्ड ब्लू हिज whistle and we moved off. Once again, I had a game to play and a new fellow traveler. So now he had to introduce himself again to someone who was going to come and sit next to him. So अब उसकी फिर से कोई नया बंदा आ रहा था. The train gathered speed. The wheels took up their song. The carriage groaned and shook. I found the window and sat in front of it, staring into the daylight that was darkness for me. अब वो देख तो सकता नहीं था तो उसके सामने तो सब कुछ डार्क ही था. Although सुबह हो रही थी, सनलाइट थी, तो so many things were happening outside the window. It could be a fascinating game guessing what went on there. The man who had entered the compartment broke into my reverie. तो जो अब कंपार्टमेंट में बंदा घुसा था वो मेरे बर्थ में आकर बैठा मेरे साथ. You must be disappointed, he said. तो वो बंदा कहता है कि तुम तो बहुत दुखी होगे ना. You might be very disappointed. तो I'm not nearly as attractive as a traveling companion as the one who just left. तो वो बंदा कहता है जो अभी आया है कि मैं तो उस बंदी की तरह, मतलब उस बंदी के 1% भी सुंदर नहीं हूँ as compared to the girl who just left. She was an interesting girl, I said. Can you tell me, did she keep her hair long or short? तो वो उस बंदे से पूछता है कि उसके बाल लंबे थे या छोटे थे. तो the guy who just came in, he said, I don't remember. He said, sounding puzzled. It was her eyes I noticed, not her hair. तो वो बोलता है कि मैंने तो उसकी आंखें देखी थी, उसके बाल नहीं. She had beautiful eyes, but they were of no use to her. She was completely blind. Didn't you notice? तो वो बंदा बोलता है कि उसकी आंखें देखी थी मैंने, उसके बाल तो मेरे को नजर ही नहीं आए, बट उसकी आंखें बहुत सुंदर थी, बट क्या फायदा. शी वॉज कम्प्लीटली ब्लाइंड. तुमने ध्यान नहीं दिया. सो द गाय डिडंट नो कि वो बंदा भी ब्लाइंड था. एंड नाउ द गाय न्यू, जो बंदा जो प्रोटैगनिस्ट है स्टोरी का, उसको पता लगा कि द गर्ल वाज आल्सो ब्लाइंड. सो दैट इज द एंड ऑफ द स्टोरी. नाउ let's come to the questionnaire. Which of the following words mean the same as surprised? Startled. Which part of the given sentence has an error? If the sentence is free from error, mark no error. Her voice had the sparkle of a mountain stream. No error. Which of the following words is correctly spelled? The answer is companion. Here's the answer. From where did the girl get in the train? Rohana. Who came to see off the girl? The girl's parents. They seemed very concerned about her comfort. The man gave the girl instructions to keep her things. True. Now, where did the speaker move to? Door, window, or none of these? He moved to the window. Why did he face towards the window? Because he asked the girl that how's everything outside, and she said, can't you see for yourself? Like, she replied in a very polite manner. So that is why he moved to the window, so that he would pretend that he could see. He heard the panting of the engine. He could see telegraph post by his eyes. No, false. By his mind's eye. Make a sentence of your own on pretense. Shreya was playing pretense with her little sister. The girl was getting off at Saharanpur. At what place the speaker was going to after Dehradun? Mussoorie. Who would be meeting the girl at Saharanpur? Her aunt. Now, true and false. There were only 3 persons in the compartment. False. There were only 2. The girl was traveling to Mussoorie. False. She was traveling to Saharanpur. The speaker knew that there were many animals in the forest near Dera. False. He knew that there were not many animals left in the forest near Dera. The girl didn't like to be told that she had a pretty face. True. Because everybody around her told her that she had a pretty face, but the first remark she got from this guy was that she had an interesting face. She liked short train journeys. True. She liked train journeys that only lasted 2 to 3 hours. Now answer the following questions. What instructions did the woman give to the girl? To keep her things normally, to not lean out of the window, and to not talk to the strangers. Why was the girl startled when she heard the speaker's voice? Because she had no idea that there was somebody else in the compartment and she couldn't see. What mistake did the speaker make in his conversation with the girl? He asked her if how was everything outside. Do you think that the speaker often pretended to be able to see? Give a reason for her answer. Um, I think yes, the speaker often pretended to be able to see because he pretended in front of the girl that he could normally see everything. And when the other person came, the next person came and told that he was not as pretty as the traveling companion he just had, he did not clarify the fact that he was blind. Did you at any point in the story guess the ending? If yes, when? Personally, I could never have thought that the girl was also blind if I did not read the story beforehand. But yes, I really found the story amusing, and the first reaction I had to the story was wow. Like, I had never thought that this would be the case, but it is a beautiful story indeed. So I hope you liked the story. I hope you understood it. I hope you understood every and each word out of it. So happy learning. Goodbye.